Do you ever wonder why your financial situation or maybe the amount of time you have in a day is the way it is from a vibrational, manifestational frequency perspective? And so the idea is the dominant thoughts in our mind and the dominant feelings that we feel, and by dominant I mean the ones we feel most often and think most often, eventually turn into physical form. And so you can, in a sense, measure the quantity of them with something I call a vibrational pie chart. And so, just as a reminder, vibration is essentially the combination of your thoughts, focus, and emotions. And so for the vibrational pie chart, the idea is like take the last, 6 weeks of your life, 2 to 3 months of your life, and intuitively, like estimate what percentage is on the presence of what you desire and on the lack of what you desire. So you can like draw a circle as like a pie chart and then tune into, let's say, finances, wealth, and then be like, okay, what percentage of the time am I thinking about the presence of it? So a lot of times people think they're thinking about more money, but they're actually thinking about the lack of it. And one of the ways you can tell is by how it feels. So if it feels like it feels lighter and more aligned and more uplifting, then it's probably the right direction. If it feels more like heavy or down, it's probably focusing on lack. And so you think about the last, 6 weeks or 2 to 3 months or even 6 months, and reflect upon the amount of thoughts you have on that subject. Are they on the presence of the desire, like plenty of money, or on the lack of that desire, like not enough? And then measure it and then put it on a pie chart. You can like literally draw the circle or just imagine it. And then on the other half of the pie chart, it's then the lack. So presence on one side, lack on the other. And you could draw this for maybe the collection of thoughts and then also the feelings, like the feeling of feeling wealthy, which to me is like a comfort inside, but also like a kind of like it's like opportunities. It's like, oh yeah, I can do anything. So it's kind of like this relieving comfort that's in there. And so you can then draw them out. And let's say so let's stick with the subject of money for now. So let's say 50% of the time you're thinking about the presence of money and 50% of the time you're thinking about the lack of money. So if you draw down your pie charts, like down the middle, half and half. And so how that plays out in from a vibrational perspective in your life is about half the time money flows in, half the time money flows out. And so on average, you have a zero net gain. And so it's kind of like you may even get an extra bonus, but then there's extra expenses, whatever it is. Okay, so then let's say you're able to tilt your collection of thoughts and feelings maybe 10% more in the other direction or 20% more. So let's call it like a 70-30, 70% on desire, 30% on the lack of the desire. So then what starts happening is it starts showing up in your life more. So in the example of money, you'll notice that more money starts flowing in your life, more money opportunities. Maybe someone wants to buy something off you. Maybe you got that extra bonus at your job. Maybe someone gave you a gift like your birthday money. There's some extra money in there. And then the expenses might go down, or maybe the amount of income you have go up. Maybe you got that raise at work. Versus maybe it's inverted, where maybe only focus on what you desire, like 20% of the time, and 80% of the time is in lack. Then it's the opposite. It's kind of like there's always another expense, the bank account's draining, whatever it is. And so this applies to every subject. So it applies to time. And so the vibration of time can be drawn out in this way. And the same way, it's like you focus on the presence of time, how plenty of time, so much to do it in. Or are you on lack of time? Like, oh no, I don't have enough time to do anything. I'm always doing the things that I have to do, and I don't have time to do the things I want to do, right? So you can tell by the energy if it's like expansive and aligned and going toward what you prefer, or if it's contracting and pulling you away from what you prefer. Either way, we're feeding into our subconscious what it is, and then it creates more experiences that match that feeling and those thought patterns. And so by being able to measure out your desire, whatever it is on the pie chart, you can then intentionally tilt your desires in that direction. And I call it, there's this exercise I call 2-to-1 or mining the silver lining. And that's anytime you notice a thought of the lack, can you come up with one or two thoughts on the presence of the desire to, in a sense, counter it out? One is then even, but two tilts you in the positive direction. And if you're to do that just 1% more per day, after a few days, it'll start tilting in the positive direction. If you can do that for a few weeks, I find 6 weeks or even 2 to 3 months are often really powerful time frames for cultivating energy. And around 6 to 7 months, that's usually the tipping point where it becomes the more dominant feeling. It's easier to feel the new way than the old way. And so this is the game. This is the idea. This is how you measure your vibration on any topic. Abraham Hicks talks about like the stick with two sides. It's like, what side are you focusing on? And then when you know that, you're able to then highlight and tilt into the side you prefer more often. There's a lot of ways to do that, like 2-to-1 mining the silver lining, or even like lists of positive aspects and things like that. So my name's Kent Peterson. This is a topic I love to help people out with. And, you check out the link in my bio or the description, depending on where you watch this. I go to my sources, join my Facebook group. I used to make a lot of videos on that kind of stuff. And it's called Manifesting Mastermind. And from there, buy one of my mini books, check out my free resources, watch more of my videos, send me a DM or an email, ask me more content. I'll create more videos for you. Or even join one of my upcoming coaching programs or hire me as a coach, because I can help you have deep transformational experiences that help you live the life you desire and dream of.